All right, so we've got Christopher in Tennessee. Thanks for waiting.
All right.
Hi, Matt.
Matt and Dennis, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Dennis, how's it going? Hey, Matt.
Going all right.
Doing okay, getting good grades.
Good. I don't know who that first caller was, but if there was a CDC that needs testing for coronavirus, I think he'd be a candidate.
I don't know, does coronavirus make you accept things without evidence?
Maybe. Who knows? Won't know until you try.
And not just things,
Anyway,
vile
I think
things.
for a global pandemic, we'll stick with the science and not get too speculative. But, you know, on the one hand, if telling people that you should be extra cautious about coronavirus because even if it doesn't kill you, it can make you irrational, I don't know that you're going to be reaching the people who are actually concerned.
Right.
Well, I think I'd agree with you there. Listen, I found you about 4 months ago, and I always had these religious, pretexts with everything in my life. Everything had to do with religion. I'm half Jamaican. That whole island is nothing but. If you try to get a taxi on Sunday, forget it. It's over. You're not going anywhere.
Oh, wow.
So, that's the type of environment I'm coming from.
Right.
So now that, Matt completely changed my life. I don't know.
Nah, you did that.
Made everything.
There's 1,000 other people who heard me say the same things and they didn't change their minds. So take credit for having the temerity to do that.
Fortitude.
Well, I appreciate it, Matt. Well, like I was saying, coming from that type of environment and being where I am now and trying to live a life is almost next to impossible. I haven't told my mom or any of my family, and I am terrified of what will happen if they find out.
Yeah, you're not alone.
No, I know. I just thought that Matt would have some type of, is there any way that I can speak, try to make them understand? Is there any,
So the first question is, why do you want to do that?
Well, I want to have a relationship, a regular relationship again. Right now, all I'm doing is avoiding them.
Okay. Then probably the best thing you can do is to go to your mom and say, hey, I've been avoiding you because I'm worried about your reaction to something, and I value our relationship, and I've been struggling with this, and I figured probably the best thing to do is just tell you that I'm struggling with it and that I value the relationship and that I've been avoiding you, and I don't want to do that because I love you and I would like to keep that relationship. My issue is that I have found myself to where I don't believe the same things that you believe with regard to religion and God. As a matter of fact, I don't believe there's a God at all. And I knew that this sort of information would potentially hurt you, and I was terrified of what your reaction would be and whether or not you would, still want to interact with me or love me. Just be honest about what you're feeling. In the last 2 years, I've learned a lot about me and stuff that I never would have thought. But in the last couple of months, I've learned, and I'm open. I'm about as open and honest as you're ever going to find. Mm-hmm. And there are people here at the ACA that will tell you, yes, Matt should shut up and not be quite so open and honest about things. A little too open. And yet, I discovered something in the last couple of months about actually being able to talk about how I feel with somebody and how that can be beneficial to everybody involved. So that's the best advice I've got, is to be open and honest with your mom and start with the fact that you love her and care about the relationship, and that is why you have been distant, because you were afraid of what her reaction would be.
Yeah. But only you know, only you know what the likely result will be.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Matt, you are very optimistic about that.
No, have you heard the stories of me and my mother?
Oh, I have.
I'm not optimistic. I'm talking about what I think the best course of action is, because if you do that, as I've done and others have done, and ultimately the relationship ends or becomes more strained, or It's not on you anymore. It is their religious views that are preventing them from having a good relationship with their own kid.
You know what? I never thought that, actually. I actually was just worried about the reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's a very, very religious. I mean, I have to do what you were saying before, because I heard what you were saying before. You have to be ready to, never have these relationships again, you know, but
right.
As long as, once again, that's the part I'm struggling with right now.
Yeah, well, you have to weigh, how important is it to tell the other person, how desperate are you to tell the other person, and, how fearful are you of the reaction?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way,
fearful.
By the way, even if it goes really poorly, that doesn't mean it's going to go bad forever. There's the immediate reaction, and then there's the let me sit and think about this for a while, and oh my God, I miss my son, and can we get along and work together and have interactions perhaps that don't have anything to do with religion. Or one of the things that I did was I asked my mom, okay, you believe in God and that God has a plan and that God loves me and wants me to know he exists. And so that just telling me stuff isn't going to change my mind. And you believe that God answers prayer. So you should pray that God would reveal himself to me in accordance with his plan. And if it happens, then that was part of God's plan. And if it doesn't, then it wasn't. And now the responsibility has been taken off the shoulders of my parents, or yours in this case, and put back where it belongs on a God. And if in fact there is a God and he never takes any effort to reveal himself to either one of us, fuck him. I don't have to.
I hear you. I'm so close to that sentiment. It's just, it's like I need one more incident.
Right. You have to weigh your priorities.
So I will caution you against one thing, Christopher, and that's, I was going to say, you'll know when the time is right, because you'll reach a breaking point and you'll be comfortable. Here's the cautionary tale. Go through it in your head frequently about what the best way to deal with this would be, because the last thing you want to do is be at Christmas surrounded by everybody, and your mom says something that becomes the last straw, and then you become the angry reactionary atheist who just decides to dump it all out right then, and your God is a monster, That would be bad.
I understand perfectly.
Yeah.
Because I'm right there. I mean, it's like a grown man telling me I can't wait for presents that Santa Claus is going to bring. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird now. And it's like, I kind of cringe a little bit, but at the same time, I understand. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah, the other thing that I frequently recommend is, while I think you should be prepared and ready to talk about it the way I suggested, is you don't have to do let's sit down, I need to tell you something, because that's already ominous. I mean, anybody who's been in a relationship who's ever got like a text message that says, we need to talk, your mind goes to all the worst things, and it might just be about what we're doing for dinner. You don't know.
That's it. That was my, what's funny? That was my first opening line. We need to talk.
Instead, you can just gradually start being open about who you are more and more, and as the conversations get there, you can honestly do I don't believe that, or
I'm really, really, really anxious. I mean, it's so bad that I moved all the way from New York to Tennessee just so I had an excuse not to, go to events and go. It's a crazy.
Wait. You moved from New York to Tennessee to avoid having this conversation with your mom?
My whole family.
Wow.
My whole family. That's how serious it is.
I have another suggestion for you. You should contact Recovering from Religion and possibly the Secular Therapist Project, because while I can understand that, anybody who actually decides to move, I was lucky that I'd already moved away from my family, so that left me that buffer. But you might need to talk to some other people who've gone through that as well, and perhaps engage in some counseling, because that seems like an extreme measure. Because even if I lived in the same town as my parents, I could avoid them without like packing up everything and moving to another state.
I cannot.
Wow.
I have to go almost to the middle of the country. It's trust me, it's bad. It's really, really bad. I'm talking about. There's no amount of logic that's gonna.
Are they going to kill you?
I can already see.
Are they going to kill you?
No, they're not gonna. No, they're not gonna kill me.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't have any kids.
Okay, well, there goes a little piece of leverage. But
Yeah, I know. I know. Trust me, I've been through this a million times in my head.
seriously, contact Recovering from Religion, and also contact us back whenever you decide to do this, and however you decide to do it. Let us know how it goes.
I honestly think I'm going to have this conversation this week, and then I'm going to try to call back and let you know how it goes, good or bad.
So are you going to go to New York this week and see your mom in person?
Absolutely not. I'm
Don't do it.
Calling on the phone. Don't do it on the phone?
No, I will.
Nah.
So the phone, nobody has to look into anybody's eyes and recognize that they're still talking to a person that they love.
Yeah.
Maybe you can
That-
FaceTime or video chat or whatever, and at least that gets to part of it. But that's like dumping someone in a text message. That's just it means
right.
And plus you're giving them ammunition in the sense that, oh, look, he's afraid to talk to us about this,
right?
Because he knows the truth. He knows he's a fallen sinner. God is given over to a reprobate mind. Now they get to rationalize everything.
That would be the last straw.
Yeah.
Well, if you're talking to him, I think we're already at the last straw. But yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for the call, Christopher. Let us know how it goes.
Good luck.
Thanks.
And try and find some local people to interact with.
Appreciate it.
I know there are atheist organizations in Tennessee because my ex-wife started one at ETSU.
Yeah.
And we've had the American Atheist Convention in Memphis, and I've given several talks in and around, Tennessee, Kentucky.
Do we know of any states where there definitely aren't any?
No, I can't say where I know of a state where there definitely isn't one. But I can say that I've never spoken to or been invited to interact at any atheist gathering or convention anywhere in New England, like in the Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. Well, I did in a debate in Massachusetts, so that's close.
Would that?
Yeah.
Would New Hampshire and that be a hotbed of religious?
No,
I wouldn't. Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, you tend to find atheist organizations focused in the Bible Belt
Where they're needed. Yeah, right.
Is I had no problem. Like, I know there's groups in New York City, but I was in New York City last weekend and would have walked around with atheist T-shirts and all that with no concern.
Right. And then there's Wyoming where there's like 3 people.
Yeah, but I heard from somebody in Wyoming. So one of the 3 is an atheist.
Right.
One of the 3.
One of the 3.